what is your most requested thing to sell?
Mm-hmm.
Salads. So whenever they go out and do these surveys and they hire these PR companies to go out and do these surveys and they pay somebody $20. If you go to an Italian restaurant or you order pizza from Pizza Hut, what else would you like to see on the menu? They all say salads. Every time they put salads on the menu, they rot. Nobody buys it.
I like fried chicken thighs that make me feel so good. Bacon fat, I'd marry that if I only could. Stoking coals soothes my soul. I love my barbecue. Understand, I'm just a man with the pork fat baby back blues.
Gdayall, and welcome to episode 20. Yesterday was National Pizza Day, so today's topic is pizza. How many, American pizza. Let me just say that before the question comes to you. Phil, welcome, Phil.
Hello.
Hello. How many styles of pizza do you think there are in the U.S.?
Well, I wish I had one now, but
Me too.
The only styles that I know of is about 4 or 5, but I'm sure there's like zillions out there.
Well, we've narrowed it down to 18.
18.
And I'm sure there's some little freaky corner shops somewhere that have their own style.
Yep.
And I didn't count dessert pizza with that one either. Because that's not real.
That's not real.
So today we're going to discover the origins of pizza in America. I heard a quote today from a pizza maker in America, and I thought it was very good. He goes, first, it was Italian-American. Now it's American-Italian. Because the generations have gone through, so they've kind of taken a good thing and they've made it to the new audience.
Got a lot of good memories of pizza, don't you?
I love it. Yes, at pizza parties. Although we had a strange man, Norm. He had a handlebar mustache.
Yeah.
And he used to threaten to spank his children.
Yeah. They did that in those days.
I don't know where he ended up in the end, but Norm's Pizza, that's where we
Leavenworth.
would probably, and that's where we would have our pizza parties if we were lucky for a birthday.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that's the only time I got like a whole jug of root beer.
Wow.
Yes. And yours, we'd have different ones. What about you?
Well, we always had pizza by the slice. I mean, only on maybe sometimes on a Sunday, if we were home, we didn't go up to my aunt's or my grandmother's.
Mm-hmm.
So we have an early dinner.
Yep.
My mother used to always make a roast. And then for what came around the time that Ed Sullivan came on, it was, you're hungry again.
Bit peckish.
Yeah. So every place in New York, the pizza parlor is down the block. Right? So just run out and get a whole pizza. That's probably the only time you buy a whole pizza is like on a Sunday. Well, for us anyway.
To bring it back to everyone.
Yeah.
See, and I had never seen pizza sold by the slice except in movies. Mm-hmm. And Tony from Saturday Night Fever. That was out, actually, Saturday Night Fever. They had the PG version after the R version, right? And Mom let me see the PG version. And I later saw the R version.
His brother was a priest. So it had to be good. Yeah.
But I remember him. I went, oh, my God, you can buy it by the slice. Yeah. How exciting. So when I went to New York, I made Brendan find a place. And I said, I don't care what it is. We're buying it.
It's on 86th Street. In Brooklyn, actually, the original one where they showed with Tony walking down, that's 86th Street with the L over it. Very famous area there because they also shot the French Connection in that area.
I was just going to say
that was just up the block from them, about 3 blocks up, where it turns onto Newtrick Avenue. And then Welcome Back, Kotter. That scene there, same train line.
See, I told you, this is your show.
This is my show.
This is all your area. So we're going to be talking about the origins, which, some of it goes back to your dad again, which we will come up to. Not personally, but his group. Variety, like differences in nationality. So
the Greeks got into it.
Everyone got into it. And then it kind of, as it made its way west, it's a bit different. Like you guys would never put barbecue chicken on a pizza, I'm sure.
No,
yes.
But I'm really surprised, because of the nationalities making the pizza. Because most pizza places you go to, it's like if you go to the Dollar Pizza place in New York, most of the guys that are making the pizza and serving you are all Puerto Rican.
Yeah, so why don't they?
So how come they're not putting rice and beans on it or putting plantains?
Because no one wants it. They want the traditional, I'm guessing.
Well, I bet next time we go back there, I'll find it.
Now you've said it.
Yep.
And pizza places. So our pizza places that I grew up with were almost like the local pub. There was a bar. and we get appetizers, salads, and all that sort of thing. So we'll talk about that sort of difference, our New York and California experiences, and the shock that we both had having Australian pizzas.
Mine would have been worse than yours. We'll get into that later. We'll save that for later.
And we'll do pizza, bagels, Hot Pockets, etc., because pizza is everything.
Yeah, pizza travels on a lot of different palettes.
And I think
plates.
Gen X, that's when we were latchkey kids.
Yeah.
We all learned how to make the English muffin pizza. Yeah. That's where it started.
And in the Midwest kids used ketchup. No. And American cheese.
Call it catsup too. And a little bit of pizza and pop culture, which, it's everywhere. It's all around us. I think this is probably, I used to think it was hamburgers, but looking at this research, I'm thinking.
Well, pizza is probably one of the, always in the top 3 of takeaway food or takeout food.
Yeah.
Or food to go, whichever way you want to put it. But pizza's always at the top, right up there.
Well, do you know, speaking of food to go, that's the first time I ever had food delivered.
Was a pizza?
Was the only food that was delivered?
Probably mine too. I never.
Yeah, because it was like, that was
Chinese food. It was,
no, but we didn't have that.
Oh, see, we had Chinese food all the time. I mean, that was always the Italians when you went out to eat. You don't need Italian food. You're going to eat that at home. You go to a Chinese restaurant.
Yeah, that's why we went to Mexican, but they didn't deliver that either.
Right.
And do you want to cover? I think the first fun fact.
Yeah, first fact: New York City, the average pizza slice matches the cost of a subway ride. So right now, the cost of a subway ride is $2.75.
Oh.
So I know there is still dollar pizza there, but I guess the average price will be. But I do remember when it used to be one of the little tokens. Yeah. That was 15 cents. I remember 15-cent pizza. That didn't last too long in my childhood. Then it jumped up to 25 cents. But I think a lot of it was mafia driven because they were taking a cut. It was the story was that mafia takes 5 cents out of every slice of pizza sold in New York.
Actually, I did read about a whole chain of local restaurants that got taken down because the mafia were running it, and that makes sense.
Yeah, well, not running; they controlled it. Yeah,
well, they had drugs going through it.
Yeah. Well,
so pizza on the
that's
side.
That's the new pizza. That's the hemp pizza.
It was the snow pizza. Yeah. And Americans consume around 250 million pounds of pepperoni.
Yeah, that's a lot of pepperoni.
That is a hell of a lot of pepperoni.
There's a lot of agita, too.
And I was talking to my mother about pizza today, and she's like, the pepperoni doesn't taste the same in Australia. I'm like, no, it tastes different. It all tastes different. And if they don't slice it thin enough where it gets bubbles up, it makes that little cup and gets crispy. And in 2011, this is going back to the Reagan administration before that with ketchup. 2011, the American government found that 2 tablespoons of tomato sauce on pizza in school cafeterias to meet the requirements of what's considered to be a vegetable serving.
Well, tomato is a vegetable, right? So they got that and they got dairy.
And how much sugar is in the tomato sauce? That's probably ketchup-like.
Yeah, what they would use commercially.
Did you have pizza in your cafeteria at the Sweat Hog High School?
No.
We did. That was the one time that we would line up, and it was awful, but it was
because
so
they
funny.
knew the kids wouldn't eat it. They would throw it at somebody. This ain't pizza. What is this? All right. So anyway, we're going to pause for our first break. Where's the pizza? Is the guy coming yet? Where's
the doorbell rings? We'll stand out for him.
Okay. And we'll be right back. Okay, Bob, we're back and no pizza yet. Not even a beer. Come on. Because this is we'll let you in on a clue. This is our first night game. Because usually we do this in the daytime. So we're usually having coffee, but right now we're ready for a beer.
That's right. Yeah. And the producers just let us down because we should have fully catered.
I know. So he's getting one for himself. So we're going to start off with the origin of pizza. Now, pizza goes way, way back. Mm-hmm. Okay. And the little history of it how it got called like the margarita pizza.
Yes.
Okay, so Margherita of Savoy.
Fancy.
Okay, she was the queen of like Italy.
Oh, okay.
So she was going around. She went to this place in Naples, right? And of course, they made 3 different types of pizza. And her favorite one was the one with the mozzarella, the tomato sauce. So I think some basil on it, or as they would say in Italy, a basilico. So, and she picked that. And that was about 1889.
Oh.
But the word pizza goes way back further than
Right.
that. They found that, BC
It's like an ancient
sometime.
word,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yes.
But in Naples pizza.
Napolitan, yeah.
That is sort of the pizza that we kind of like the origin of the pizza, isn't it? I know it's all over.
Yeah,
but
and that's
sort
the
of
most popular
famous.
style of pizza is a Napolitan. And when I grew up in Brooklyn, so we either had that, which would be the round pizza. We didn't call it Napolitan. We just called it round or square. Square is the Sicilian style of pizza. All right, I'm just got this.
There's some catering choices.
Yeah, catering choices here. Beer 1 or beer 2. Okay, and where were we now? Now I've lost my thought.
Oh, well,
Thanks,
have a
Brendan.
drink. To say he shouldn't be. He should be controlling things.
I know. Well, now we're out of control.
Right.
So also UNESCO, you heard
Right.
of them, right? They make things that famous by the UN.
Yeah, yeah.
Officially listed pizza from Napoli.
I said, did it to you now.
Thank you. From Napoli. So it's officially listed as a UNESCO site in Naples for pizza. That's the official food.
Well, I heard a little bit about that too, because there is a Napoli association. So to make that pizza, so you can call it original Naples pizza, you have to have things like buffalo mozzarella from Campania.
It's not what you say.
I know. You say
Mozzarella.
Mozzarella from Campania. See, he gets to correct me this week all over the place. And, it has to be fresh and everything has to be right. So and the certain tomatoes have to be done. Otherwise, you can't have your stamp at the front.
Well, the Italians also want to regulate it now.
Yes.
They talk about the big mafia, right? So like the French, they have, like you can't make champagne in Australia and call it champagne. You're going to call it something else. Sparkling, right.
Well, they have more prime ministers than we do. And and no car bombs.
Yeah. No car bombs. Yeah,
that
gets people in trouble all the time.
Well, it was, from what I understand, it came over with the early Italian immigrants to, New York, because most people showed up.
Yeah, well, that's where the migration from Italy went to Lower Manhattan, to the Lower East Side. That's where my father's family originated when they came over.
Yeah.
So, and it was, it was the slums, sort of like you watch the things on TV. That's how it was. They're all jammed into these little tenement apartments, and then eventually they got into it and they started making money and they started moving out and dispersed all over the country.
But we've left the heart of pizza.
They left the heart of pizza. And the first pizza in New York, or the first pizza that came there, was Lombardi's. Right?
Yes,
and that's in Lower Manhattan, and that was in 1905.
Oh,
that's a long time.
That is a very long time ago,
and it's still there, same exact spot.
Oh, fantastic!
Right.
Well, with that, it would be, I would guess, fairly reasonably priced, and for families to go and have. Mm-hmm. So, isn't the best food almost like peasant-y food?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think back, like when pizza was 15 cents a slice. How much was a pie? I think it was like $2.25, $2 and a quarter.
Well, I had sticker shock when I was looking at some menus of my places at home, because I even called my mother. I said, "Do you pay that much for a pizza?" Yeah.
Well, I took off the menu off the website from Lombard's.
Yeah.
And the pizzas are all in the $20 range, $21, $25,
Well, California is more expensive.
Yeah. And one thing I noticed on here, we got the rustic double pepperoni, and you got the sausages and peppers and onion, which is very New York, like San Gennaro Festival. I don't know why they put it on pizza, but you got a pesto. You got Buddy's, Buddy the cake guy. Yeah. So he has his own one there, but no cake on it, thank God. You got a pepperoni, a pancetta, and onion. You know what I don't see? I don't see none here with no. Yeah, margarita, white pizza.
Yeah.
Where's the pineapple pizza?
It's been banished to kindergartens across the country.
Yeah, I think they have that. No, I can't say that on the air.
No, I don't know what you're going to say, but let's
I would
not
be in
say
Italian anyway.
I think there's enough people that will know what that means. And my favorite bit of pizza trivia, and this is going back to your dad.
Mm-hmm.
A couple weeks ago, we talked about coffee, and it got its name, Cup of Joe, from the GIs. G.I. Joe's like in a cup of coffee.
Right.
Well, pizza went nuts and went across the U.S. and exploded in popularity when the GIs came back.
Yeah.
And they loved it.
They loved it probably over in Italy, the ones that fought in Europe. My father was fought down in the South Pacific, so he didn't come up back with that. He probably had a love of meat pies, but...
And your mom.
And my mom.
You found your mom. That was the important thing. And I just thought that generation did so much. Yeah.
Well, I mean, but also, again, that was like probably one of the first takeaway foods, so takeout. You know, that you went to the shop and you picked it up and you brought it home to eat. You couldn't do that with anything else, really, at the time.
No,
and it was affordable.
It was. We used to manage to save up.
And nobody said, I didn't like it. I don't like that.
Everyone likes pizza.
Yes.
That would shut everyone up. Your friends came over. I used to get excited because occasionally when friends came over, we get to get pizza. I was like, can we have pizza? Yes. Yes. Very, very exciting.
Pizza goes well with everybody.
And there's a difference first of all, there's a difference in the doughs everywhere. Yeah. So we haven't even touched on yet. But the traditional New York pizza.
It's a thin sliced pizza, crusty. I mean, it does have a certain amount of gluten in it, so it does have a bit of pull.
Yep.
But the edges, like a lot of people won't eat the edges. If you get a good pizza, the edges are great. I love the edges. I do. You know, and everybody says, like, you know, my wife Jeanette, she said, make sure you tell them about the water. It has to do with the water. You know, it's the water that does it. I don't know if it's the water or not, because the water here, I mean, we have good water here in Melbourne.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, which is very similar to New York, where it comes from. You know, a long way down the rocks and mountains and natural aqua filters and all that.
Yeah, not filtered through a roof.
You're right, and New York is on their water. You know, it's a soft water. It's not a hard water. So that has something to do with the dough.
It would. And actually, I saw something with another pizza maker, which for New Haven Pizza, so Connecticut. And his pizza was was really wet compared to the New York pizza. And it just felt like, well, it used to have to be out all day. Yeah, there was no refrigeration. And so I think different people use different sorts. Yeah, so we should get into the varieties. Now, we've got a long list. We won't really get deep into all of them, but there is one.
So you want to go with, how about starting off with a disgusting one first?
Yeah, I was just going to say, this one just blows me away. First of all, I love the name of the town. And I think I heard it in, like, Bugs Bunny must have said it once.
No, that was Rancho Cucamonga.
Should have left in Albuquerque. Altoona, Pennsylvania. Okay, you ready?
Well, it's better than Intercourse, Pennsylvania.
I think the food would be better in Intercourse than this Altoona. So it's evidently started at the Altoona Hotel. And I reckon they were out of a whole lot of stuff, or some drunk guy in the back made this up. Because it's a pizza, just pizza dough. Then you get deli salami. So like Oscar Mayer salami, nothing special, like out of the plastic wrap. Sweet sauce.
Ketchup.
Then raw, so you slice bell pepper, so it's like a pepper ring. Yeah. And then American melty cheese over the top of it.
They did run out of a few things there.
That's like a 5-year-old man. Sorry, I might be offending people from Altoona, Pennsylvania. I'm terribly sorry. And if it's magnificent, please write to me and tell me what is so good about it, because I don't think I'll be drunk enough to even try this. Well,
you know, but pizza, a lot of things are called pizza because it's shaped like a pie, pizza pie. It's round, you know. I remember also going as a kid, going to Sbarro's, the original Sbarro's off of 17th Avenue, 65th Street, Brooklyn. You know, so you could Google that up. Yes. Okay, and there's pictures of it on the inside. Doesn't look like anything that you used to see in the malls. And they used to make this pie, and we call it pizza also, but it would be in the old school 4 to 5 inches high, filled with cheese and sausage meat and stuff like that. No tomatoes in it.
Right. That's good. What the hell happened to you?
I'm sorry.
You're slipping.
God, I got to go to confession now. So none of that. I've been here too long. So none of that in there. And it was just so good, so rich. You know, it had eggs and stuff in it to bind it together. And just a beautiful crust around
Is
the
that
side.
like a deep dish?
No, because it didn't have the tomatoes. So no sauce. But, sauce didn't come to the old world until the new world was discovered.
Oh.
Because tomatoes came from North America.
I did not know that.
Maybe I'm wrong, but that's the story I heard.
Well, I'll stick with it. Okay. I quite like it because that makes sense. Yeah. I heard a quote from a guy because, you can stick anything on a pizza crust. You can stick ramen on it. That doesn't make it. Does it make it a pizza?
Well, they would call it a pizza. But then.
Yes.
My Aunt Anna, she used to make from whether part of her family was from Italy. Okay. And we used to have it on New Year's Eve. And it would be a stuffed pizza. Okay. Again, with no tomatoes, okay? And it would be broccoli, black cured olives, I think a little bit of mozzarella cheese, and olive oil, and then a top over it. So it was like a real pie, but using the pizza dough, and then bake that, and it will just come out, and sausage meat, Italian sausage with the fennel.
Oh, yeah.
And into it. It was just fabulous. Cold, hot, whatever, however it came out.
Oh, because I'd have that for breakfast too. That's one of my favorite bits is pizza the next day. There's okay, so now we've left Pennsylvania. There's a bar pizza in Boston, from basically South Shore, from what I can understand. So this is, I don't know, have you had it?
No.
Okay, it sounds like something I like because it's thin and it gets almost like a cracker-like base for the way they do it.
Oh, I had pizza like that but like at franchise pizza.
No, well, the cheese goes all the way to the end, so it gets kind of like that burnt crunchiness on the end of the pan. Really simple toppings, but it was like sold at a bar, so it's a little personal pizza. And I love thin crust. I love thin.
But you like that saltine thin crust?
Well, that's like making it on like lavish bread. No, or when Weight Watchers tell you to make pizza with pita bread, I'm like, ugh, that's not real.
Rice crackers.
No, the only I like it when there's a little bit of olive oil sort of
dripping down your arm.
Well,
that's the case of a New York pizza. You fold it in half because it's so thin that it will just flop over.
Yes.
Okay, and then when you fold it in half, you got a good one when that oil is coming right down your arm.
It's a Mediterranean diet. It's different.
Yeah.
Well, we'll go on to, I might just take a few minutes on this one.
Yeah.
California style. So there's a history to it, which why don't you give us the background first?
Okay. Well, the history of the original California style was by two guys in California, right? Mm-hmm. And one was an attorney and the other one is a chef. Neither one of them Italian. Okay. So you have Ed Lado. Lado. And then Ches. What's like Ches? Like C-H-E-C?
Well, you know what? But sometimes it's a shortening for like Charles.
Yeah, but it's French. Oh. So it's Ches Pensy. So I would say Panisi, but it's Pensy.
Okay.
So, and he still has his restaurant there. Okay, so he's like the godfather of California style pizza. Before Wolfgang came along and his frozen, you tell that story. Okay. So he started it, and I took a copy of his restaurant. Restaurant looks really, really nice. And he only puts like one special on a day, and that's what you get to eat there.
Oh, I like that idea.
Yeah, so you don't have to choose, which is good for me too. So of course, the restaurant is Chez Pezzi, and it's in Berkeley. So where else would you come up with California pizza but in Berkeley where everybody else is getting high? What a...
It's a marriage made in heaven.
Yes. Hey man, got pizza? No. Oh yeah, we do. Yeah. Okay. Okay. But now, look at his menu. There's not a pizza to be found on here. He's too well up there. So his prices in his place looks absolutely fabulous. Goes from $75 on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday is $100 and then Friday and Saturday is $125 per person. But you're really getting some, black truffle menu with Carlo Perini and Appetit halibut and sea scallops. So there you go. I mean, it's so you got to eat good.
Okay, even though that's Berkeley, it's pretty fancy, like Wolfgang Puck fancy. Mm-hmm. And there's some beautiful restaurants in that area. But
just don't go too far north because the next town over is Oakley.
Oakland.
Okay.
Well, you can quickly cross the bridge.
Yes,
and get to
make
San
that detail.
Francisco.
Yeah.
Piedmont.
Piedmont is the highest postcode in California.
And that's in Oakland.
And it's right up at the top of the hill looking down on everybody.
My best friend drove me through there when she was there. She's, look, there's all the rich people live. Look at it. Central Valley, where I'm sort of from, so not too far away, we are the hub of asparagus, which we mentioned before. And we have a great Portuguese population, so linguiça sausage. So there's great pizzas. So different from here, and I kind of miss it.
But it's taking those elements and putting it onto the pizza.
That's exactly right. So there's one called, I was looking at some local pizza places. So like
Did you call them up and have them deliver it?
I was like, I can't believe that place. This place has been around since like 1976. I remember going to birthday parties here and after football games in high school. Although I never watched the football games. I just went for the social life, not the game. It's the old Carmel. So it had pesto, linguiça, mushrooms, and artichoke hearts. We have lots of pepperoncinis, wax peppers were really popular. That, you know, if I do that here when I buy them from work and put them on my own pizzas, lots of sausage, Canadian bacon, which I never liked on it because it's too big.
It reminds you of McDonald's.
It did. It's an Egg McMuffin bacon.
Yes.
That's exactly what it is. So we had sort of a thicker crust on our local ones, but we always had the choice. My mom and I would always get thin crust because that is just much better. And there's also the California Pizza Kitchen and a few other things that kind of
that all came out of that.
And so
from Chez.
So that California was a bit, foodie, bit different. And then you're going to go to old-fashioned, old, stodgy, and fantastic like Chicago. So that's the deep dish, to quote Jon Stewart, casserole.
Yeah. But it is good. It's different, and it's good. I mean, have you ever been to Chicago?
No, I've never been.
I remember on my first trip there, I was there on business, and the fellows I was there with, well, we got to go. Well, Dino said to, they got Ues and Dues. Uno. Yeah. So we went to Dues because that was the better one. And then you got like Gino's East, which got too commercialized.
Right.
So we went to Dues, and the pizza was just fab. I mean, it comes out, and it's, it's not a very big pie, but it's high. Yeah.
It's like a bit of theater.
Yeah, you eat it. Yeah, you eat it with a knife and fork.
Well, because you'd fall. How would you even start picking it up?
Yeah, you can't.
And then there's like a grandma style pizza, which is like a traditional sort of Sicilian pizza, which I can't pronounce.
The square pizza.
Yeah, and just fresh, really simple. Mm-hmm. And in New England, the Greeks brought coffee to New York, and they brought Greek pizza to New England, which has lots of olive oil. It's baked in a pan directly on instead of directly on the bricks. Yeah. So it gets crunchy underneath.
Well, that's how Chicago's done too.
Yeah. In a pan. And it's got feta, Kalamata olives, and oregano, and all that sort of good stuff.
So all that Mediterranean flavor.
But the U.S. is a melting pot, so why not make your own style of pizza? Yeah. We also have now New Haven seems to be the second to New York. Like there's New York pizza, and the next thing you hear about is like New Haven pizza. So similar, where it's thin,
right?
And it's it's been around sort of almost as long. But that's where I saw the clam pie being made. So it was just, we were talking about it earlier. It's just pizza, no cheese, no sauce, clams on it, and it looked beautiful. And this guy said his grandfather. It was, I looked it up. Just give me 1 second. I'll give you the name of the restaurant because it is historically significant because it's the first one there. It was, I think it was Frank Pepe's. It was called, and it had his grandfather or great grandfather had a hat that he would stack pizzas on. And he would just sell his pizzas off the top of his head. And then he had an old baker's oven. And that's how from what I understand, that's how the style of cooking of that crust happened.
Well, see, that's the key also. You just hit one of the keys of having good pizza. You can't make it through one of those revolving things with no pizza, no, concrete underneath it or whatever. You got to have a stone underneath it to get hot. And that stone keeps that heat in. Okay. And the other one is like Lombard's. Now, I've never been there, but I've been to another one in Soho, which also does the same way. I've been there for eons. But it's a coal-fired oven. Okay. And the coals are actually in the oven burning away.
Yep.
I'm talking about black coal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's how the Detroit crust was made too. I was watching a little bit of that. So,
And that's like now, we haven't been there in a while, thanks to COVID. And that is like the most popular pizza coming up in America is Detroit pizza. So like you go to Domino's and Papa John's and all that, they all make Detroit pizza.
Well, and the funny thing about that is that when I was reading it, it sounds fantastic. So it sounds almost like it's got a focaccia sort of base, like really like thick. But they were using it in like drip trays, like pans, like that were used in manufacturing and for the parts. And there's some pans that are still in those places 50, 75 years old. They're still using them.
It's so good.
And so it's square. And what I like too is that they would stick the pepperoni in first before the sauce, so it was a better penetration of flavor. So if you think when you make
but then you don't get that crunchy pepperoni.
Well, that's true. But you can't have everything.
Yeah.
So maybe it's worth it. I don't know. I haven't had one. I do have to move on and get one.
And just thinking about something, with Super Bowl and all that.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning.
Yes.
He owns 31 franchises of Papa John's. 31 franchises.
Is that Papa John's the one you have to take home and cook yourself?
No, it's already cooked.
It's already cooked?
He got in trouble with Papa John. Now they're making a comeback. He had to quit or something. The guy owned it.
Well, like Norm, did he know Norm from Norm's Pizza of my childhood?
No.
Kind of trouble.
Now, since we're talking about, the varieties.
Yes.
In Italy, okay, the pizza is done in a long pan.
Right.
Probably about a half meter in the new scale or, foot and a half long. And only, I can't figure out, only the size of an A4 piece of paper, how wide that is.
Yeah, so like 8 inches.
8 inches wide and long. Not sort of in between the thick and the thin, done in that long. And then that's how they cook the pizza. And then they come out and then they slice it with of all things, with a scissor.
Well, I do that. And people laugh at me, but hey, maybe I'm more traditional than
one of the TV chefs, he said, why are we using, they did something in a Korean restaurant. He said, why aren't we using scissors to cut most of our stuff up? It's so much easier.
Oh, and my sister-in-law does it. I saw her do that, and I went, that's brilliant. Yeah. And I've been doing it ever since.
You cut your green beans up like that.
Well, that's how I cut my green onions.
Yeah, you cut your green onions that way. Yeah, because you get you need a good scissor.
I don't want to do it the hard way.
Yeah,
do enough stuff the hard way.
Yeah, I even do parsley like that now.
Fancy.
Yeah.
You can just roll it up and chop it up.
It's just so much quicker.
And there's your food tip as we go back to pizza styles. As we talked with the New York style pizza, and you and Brendan were talking last week, we were discussing pizza, and you were saying how in some places how they do it depending on time of day.
Yeah, so if you get there especially in the city, where there's a lot of people working and stuff like that, they'll have all the different varieties already done up and cooked. They'll make them up like that. And they won't, usually at that time of day, they won't do a special one for you. You've got to wait till it comes out of the oven.
Right.
Okay. So if you want a pepperoni, you want a sausage, you want a white one, whatever, you got to wait till it comes out. So, but traditionally, they just made margarita pizzas.
Right.
And you want pepperoni on it, so it'd be sitting on the counter, and a little glass thing over it. They'll take out your slice there. They'll put on what you want. Maybe put a little extra cheese on it. It goes back into the oven. So your pepperoni is put on at that time. Your sausage is put on at that time. Your anchovies, whatever you like.
Oh, that's fantastic. Because that's good for them. Yeah. And it's like hot and fresh for you.
Yeah, and you get whatever you want because they just add the toppings onto it. And they got to heat it up again anyway.
Perfect. Yeah. There's a few styles of pizza where I saw where they end up putting like cold things on the end. So some of them are like tomatoes. So they'll make the pizza, and then of course, if people put like rocket and all the fancy stuff now. Yeah.
Arugula.
That they'll put cold cold tomato slices and things on it.
Yeah. If I wanted a salad,
I would order a salad. Yes, that's exactly right.
You know, here's a funny story. You know,
Tell me.
they would tell the guys that, like, I think it was either, I might even Papa John or one of the big franchise owners, you know, they said, what is your most requested thing to sell?
Mm-hmm.
Salads. You know, so whenever they go out and do these surveys and they hire these PR companies to go out and do these surveys and they pay somebody $20. Oh, if you go to an Italian restaurant or you order pizza from Pizza Hut, what else would you like to see on the menu? They all say salads. Every time they put salads on the menu, they rot. Nobody buys it.
Yes, I can believe it's like McDonald's try salad like once every 5 years. Because people go, we need a healthy option. Why?
Yeah, but they got the stuff anyway.
Yeah, no, let's just still chop it up. Actually, a couple of restaurants from home, I saw there was like some wedge salads and a couple of, I was like, who orders those though?
If you're sitting there having other than pizza, because usually they have it on the menu because they're doing, you know, a chicken parmesan or something like that. So if you're having something else, you might want a salad with it. Or
if they have a salad bar. Because some of those places used to be able to get a salad
here's
bar.
One. We're talking about California pizzas and all that. One place I used to go when I worked in Anaheim, I used to go to Shakey's.
Oh, Shakey's.
Now, Shakey's was not like the best place to go for pizza, but they did improve, or at least this one did improve. And I used to go there because being who I am and want to get a good value, and they used to have, I think it was a $5 all-you-can-eat lunch.
Yes.
So it had a bit of the salad
bar, which I gave.
And they had all the different pieces coming out all the different times that they made for $5.
Yes.
That was the deal.
Did they tell you have to stop now? It's like a Simpsons episode.
Yes.
I do miss that. There was pizza was a really good lunch special.
Yeah.
Because you could go in and you can have your little personal pizza and salad bar and go from there.
Yeah, for $4 or $5.
For $5.
Or maybe 10. I don't know.
Yeah, probably. I'm just trying to think what I used to have, but I used to I could get it in 30 minutes, so that was my thing. I had to get back to work. We've got like Ohio Valley style pizza from it goes from Steubenville, Ohio, up to Pittsburgh. And it's the one that has like half-cooked toppings. It has cold toppings on it.
Why?
I don't know, but I really don't understand it. But
no Italians live there. That's why.
I'm thinking it must be a valley of discontent.
Yes.
That's
that Rust Belt.
There's Old Forge style pizza, which again, I love this place. I love the name of this place. Yeah. I haven't been, and it has to be, Bugs Bunny must have said it as well. Lackawanna County.
Lackawanna.
In Pennsylvania. It's a square pizza, thick crust, and it often has onions in the sauce, and it can be a bit sweetened, which, you know.
Well, the onions will make it sweet.
Yeah.
Because when my aunts made homemade pizza, and they did a lot, one of the things they used to always put down was onions onto it. So they sliced up white onions, put it down, and put the sauce over the onions, and that cooked. And I used to love that.
I'm trying that next time, because when I do it the other way around, but that makes sense.
And it's good. It has a nice taste, so because you're cooking the onions, basically.
If I could get a hold of a sweet Vidalia onion, that would be good. But these people, it's a Pennsylvania thing, obviously, because they're putting American cheese and cheddar on it. I don't understand.
It's a Dutch, Pennsylvania Dutch, What do you want? They're riding around carriages.
It's like Velveeta. Why? We got the pan pizza, which is, that's Pizza Hut trying to have a Chicago pizza. Yeah. There's a quad style pizza, which I have never heard of any of these cities, and it's a quad city.
I've never heard of it. Is where is that?
It's Iowa and Illinois.
But there is a city that they call the Quad City that's somewhere in there. Yeah.
So these are like the cities in it, and they've got like a spice mix in their dough that has malt in it. So the dough would taste. So I think that would taste. Well, they're saying nutty, but that would and a bit of chili and cayenne. Yeah. So it's a bit spicy in Illinois and Iowa. And, sheet pizza, which is basically like the big square one.
Square pizza, yeah.
Which is like go on to the Sicilian pizza, which is the square pie with a thick crust. Now, say that word for me. It's Italian.
Zucchini. I don't know. I've never seen that word before.
She's Sicilian and Italian? Italian Sicilian? Well, I don't know. That's the name of the thick one. We go to St. Louis style. They're always a little bit different. And they use provolone cheese.
But it won't stretch.
Well, that's it, but it becomes crunchy in the oven, which is the thought.
Mm-hmm.
And then one we talked about the other week.
The tomato pie.
And that is?
Yeah, that's basically a pizza with tomato sauce on it. And I think onions on that one, too.
That would be good. Yeah. Well, and it says it's from Utica, New York.
Utica.
And Trenton, which I was like, I know that's New Jersey.
Yeah.
It's
on the border of Jersey and Philadelphia.
And a similar thing. So it's a Trenton-style tomato pie.
Yeah, they all do their own little cuts on it, Everybody has to get their 2 cents in.
I just wanted to say one more thing back to the Detroit, since we're doing a bit of history.
Yeah.
Because I love this, because I got a thing with the 20s, right? But it was developed in 1946 from a former speakeasy place, which they used to call a blind pig. So again, back to alcohol. Here we are.
Yep.
So there's a bit of controversy. So we've had controversy with nachos. We've had controversy with chocolate. We've had controversy as well. So this place was owned by Gus and Anna Guerra. So sources disagree whether the original Sicilian-style recipe was based on her mother's recipe or a recipe from one of the restaurant's employees. Connie, what's her last name? Picanato? I reckon
Connie Pick.
Connie Pick. I was like, everyone has an Aunt Connie. Yeah. And I reckon it's Aunt Connie's, personally. Well, that's what I'm reckoning.
Connie is Conchetta.
Yes.
Well, I have an Aunt Connie.
I know. Everyone I know that's Italian has an Aunt Connie.
Yep. And a brother that's Tony and Uncle Joey.
So I thought that was funny. Yeah, Paulie. I have to watch more Sopranos to get more names. But I just thought that was funny because it finally found a little bit of who invented what. So either Connie or Anna's mother.
But I like to think, because of local automotive suppliers, that's where they got the pans from. Did they take the grease and the oil from the cars out of it first?
Well, maybe people came back and got like, the ones I got last week tasted better.
Yeah, you had that dark. What was that dark oil you put in it? Yeah. But I broke a tooth. I thought it would look like a little part from a piston.
It cooked really quick in the oven because a little bit of combustion. But to me, that's so Motor City,
yes.
Isn't it? An oil pan for your pizza. Well, and so pizza places.
Yeah.
What were did you just have the takeaway ones, or what was it like for you? What was your
as
pizzeria?
I said, on every corner just about was a pizza place, right? And sometimes there was 2 on a block, and these were the short blocks. So, you always found the one you went to the most. Mm-hmm. Okay, so there was one up the corner. I don't remember the name of it, but we used to go there all the time and get our pizza. Like I'd come home from baseball practice, from Coney Island. And we go there. It was 15 cents or 25 cents a slice. Get 1 or 2, and I used to eat a lot as a kid, especially when you come home from playing. Yeah. And 2 slices of square. And because I always bought the square. I didn't buy the Napolitan pizza. I always bought the Sicilian because I liked it better. And I was done. I couldn't eat, you were full. And then eating the calzones also. They were huge. But by school, where I went to Regina Pontius, with Father Coffee. And so when we went up there, I used to sneak out, when you got to a certain grade, you didn't have to eat down in the cafeteria.
Right.
So me and my friends, we used to go to Rico's on 13th Avenue. He had the best square pizza and the best calzones. His calzones, nobody ever had them before. And this was, calzone, that's a lot of money. It's a quarter, So you only had it once in a while because you didn't have a quarter to spend. Yeah. So, but they fried them.
Oh.
God, they were so good.
That's the
and now they're not healthy when they're fried. They're better, So we had that. And, so we had all those local ones. And I remember them working in the city. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden in the village came up with Ray's Pizza. And then everybody copied, who's the original Ray's famous pizza, Ray's this. But there's one by Barney's on 7th Avenue near 17th Street.
Right.
And this one there, everybody was raving about it. And I walked by there, and people are eating in there. And this is the village, it's a little different. Right? Alternative lifestyle. Today. Okay. And they're eating this pizza with a knife and fork. What are they doing? So we go in there, we ordered a pizza, and everything was like, if you order a margarita, and even on that, you couldn't pick it up because they had so much on it.
Right.
And that's what made them famous. So where at the time places were probably charging, 50 cents to 75 cents for a slice, they were charging $1.50 or $2.
Right.
Okay. So, but you would watch them put it, and it'd be handfuls of mozzarella going onto the pie. The pie before it got in the oven was 6 inches high.
Just
Before it
mountain of
melted down.
ingredients.
Just a mountain, and then they serve it to you, and it was a line going outside.
So it was like more bang for your buck.
Yeah, well, everybody, because it was so different.
Yeah.
It's not there anymore, and neither is that style pizza. But
well, that's it, because sometimes it's just like you don't want so much on it. It just takes away, and it falls off, and it's hard to eat, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, but I remember that, and and then I remember going outside of New York and trying to get pizza was just like awful. Like going to Kansas, and yes, if you go to Kansas, don't eat the pizza, just eat the ribs. Yeah, at the day, and again, even now. Like one of my nieces worked around for a local Godfather's Pizza before they became big. They were out there. It was halfway decent, but it still wasn't New York.
No, I get that, because as we know, I'm on the constant search of Mexican food.
But probably I remember as a kid coming here.
Yes.
To Australia with my mom, right?
Yep.
And before pizza was anything near what she had, I wanted the pizza so bad. She searched for it. So one time we're in the city, she found an Italian place that I don't know where it was. Don't remember. We had pizza to shut me up. That's really what it was all about. Okay.
I find that really difficult to believe.
After I had that pizza, I never asked for it again.
What did they serve you, Phil?
What I remember, because the pizza we always had in New York was just basically a margarita.
Yep.
Yeah. This one had olives on it and stuff, and it was like, what is this stuff on here? And a different type of crust, and no, thank you.
It's shocking, but especially when you're a kid and you want your comfort food.
Right, and I didn't get it.
Oh, I'm sorry. My pizza was pizzerias. We have a few favorites. Like I talked about Norm's. I won't go back to that. And the atmosphere is a pub atmosphere. So there's VIP pizza, which my Aunt Blynn, my great Aunt Blynn, she was sort of a cranky lady. Mm-hmm. She's challenging. That's probably what it is. But she loved pizza. Like she loved it, and she loved it from VIP.
It's a good side.
It was a good side. That's right. So VIP pizza. I think it's the only time I saw her crack like a huge smile. So
pizza's coming.
So my mom and my stepdad would take her there, and actually her birthday was this week, and they were ordering pizza from that place in her honor. But it always like the ones that we get with like pepperoncinis on it, and it was just it's not overly done. And a side of wings would be good, but there's a whole bar there, so there's like games on, pitchers of beer, which you don't really get, and that was our sort of thing. And Michael's Pizza was another one that's been around since I think I said 1976. It's always been there. They are still going strong. Like it's the same. Like if I walk in, it's going to taste. And I've had it over the years at different times. It just doesn't change the way it tastes. But it's definitely a thicker crust. In those places, because you don't mess with it, you just get what they give you at that one.
Yeah, but I mean, I've been to a lot of bars, and you look at the pizza; they're pretty off because they're like frozen things, and they throw them in. Like in Jersey, you go to Jersey, go to a bar and get a pizza. Like no. This is different. This is like a pizza place where at least you can go watch a game. So you don't. See, but in New York, you don't go to a bar to get pizza, because I think what it is, I'm just thinking it's true, because the bars were owned by the Irish.
Oh, well, they don't do pizza. That's
right. Don't go to a bar you go to a bar to get drunk and then get beer.
Do you know, that's funny that you said that, because I was talking about VIP to my mom. She goes, I'm not sure if the little Irish man that owned it is still, because he was always drinking behind So there you go. The two worlds collide. Yeah. And Australian experiences here. I still have difficulty. I had good pizza last night because we went to a local place, Italian family, very sort of sparsely put on. It's not like it's, they're shoving every ingredient on it. So I quite enjoyed it. But egg and pineapple and what gets me, and I'm sorry to
this is why the Italians want to regulate this.
Oh, I know. The shredded ham. What is in that? Like, it doesn't even look, it looks like shredded bologna. Like, it's like.
You know what they say about bologna.
I know. And I was just like, and it took me a long time to find something I like. And there's seafood. There's a prawn on many. Usually, you can find the seafood ones occasionally. Right. But the prawns and the pineapple seem to migrate through a few other varieties. And you go, And speaking of pineapple, because I know how you feel about it, I'm the same. I finally talked our youngest, who is an adult now, but when she orders pizza, it used to be ham and pineapple. Right. And now she can just get ham because it's like, I have to pick off the pineapple. Do we have to do that? The classic Hawaiian pizza was not invented by a Hawaiian.
Of course not.
It was a Greek man named Sam Panopoulos, and he was in Canada. He was in Ontario.
Must have been the cold weather. Thinking of a Hawaiian vacation, you open up a can of pineapple.
That's all right. So we can thank the Canadians for the Hawaiian pizza from 1962. And I'm really sorry about that. We can't get Tim Hortons, but we got the pineapple
pizza.
The
pineapple, right.
Brendan.
Or the Montreal meat sandwiches.
Oh, I haven't had that.
Yeah, it's like little triangle bread. The bread's like a little triangle, and it's sort of like a bagel type bread.
Right.
Know? So then the meat that they put in actually is we call it pastrami.
Right.
And they serve that and with some mustard. It's beautiful.
Does that go with like the Montreal seasoning? So the peppery, like pastrami, like with that on the outside, the crust maybe?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, how did I miss that? We need to start doing something like that. And I don't think I've seen beetroot on pizza here. I think the producers
don't tell them that, please.
But if Phil would die. How'd you feel about asparagus on pizza? I've had that at home because we're the asparagus.
I'm okay with asparagus. In fact, when I was doing some research on all this, there was a pizza that came up with asparagus on it. It was like wholemeal pizza, like a healthy pizza.
Oh,
but if you eat pizza, do you really want it healthy?
No, because I'd want hollandaise on that pizza, and that takes away all the healthy. And there's also in Australia there was a place people might remember. We're not sure of the year. So my husband was a kid, so it was like centuries ago. About the mid-70s. Papa's Pizza Parlor. So it's a big pizza, like a pizza hall, it sounds like. And people would go and you'd see the guy flipping the pizzas in the window, and then it just died off. So really, we've kind of got La Porchetta's and a few Italian restaurants that have pizza.
Yeah, and then
but not a destination pizza.
Then with the people you're with, you always migrate. Like there was one stage that we're here, Phil was playing soccer and practice was like every Tuesday night. And every Tuesday night, because his practice was down near Brighton, we went to La Porchetta in Brighton. And only one I ever ordered was the original #1 with the Italian sausage on and the pesto sauce. A little bit different, but it was just beautiful. It was nice tasting, yeah.
Because every basketball end of season dinner was at the same. And I did the same thing, and I'm sure Ainsley had a few ham and pineapples there.
And we also, I remember going, like with my cousins and stuff, to St. Kilda, and there was this big pizza place there. Like it was like what you're saying there. It was like this big hall.
Yep.
Like,
I think there's
Togos or Toyos. I don't know.
Todos.
Yeah, Todos.
Yeah.
Hold the line.
Yeah, that's still around. It's still in Logon Street.
Yeah.
And the pizza is just, if you cut us open, it seems like we bleed pizza sauce.
Yes.
And so we have pizza bagels. We have English muffin pizzas.
That was like the first derivative from a regular pizza. You got to make it in a hurry, cut over a muffin, throw all the stuff on there, put it in the oven, bang.
And, I made a few of those as a latchkey kid in the oven. That's right. And we have frozen pizza bagels at work that are fantastic. And the subs. Remember you get the little sub? Like, it's French bread?
Yeah. You made it that way?
Well, no, it was like the frozen ones. Like Stouffer's.
No, I never did
Stouffer's had those.
No, it's against, we're not allowed to bring frozen pizza into the house. No.
Now, I agree with that to a point, but when I was about 12, that hit the spot after school. When I was just
speaking of frozen pizza, you had that story about Johnny Carson.
Yeah, so
Wolfgang.
Here is, we've had the Stouffer's and I think it was the 60s, the first sort of crappy frozen pizza happened because they're bad, really. And Johnny Carson used to order from Spargo, which was still owned by Wolfgang Puck. He'd order pizzas. So he'd say, I want 10 of those, and he would do truffle and smoked salmon and all those sort of things. He'd send his people down. And then the next week, he did it again. And then a month later, and Wolfgang said, what are you having, a pizza party? What's going on? He goes, no, I freeze them. They're so good. That's what I want when I come home. So I just stick them in the freezer. And at first he was offended. He goes, if you're going to do that, I'm not selling you pizza anymore. How could you do that? And he goes, and then I tried one. I froze one. And he thought, hey, that's not bad. And then he cut a deal. And you can I've had a Peking duck Wolfgang Puck pizza. And it's quite good. The crust and all that. Like if you're going to have one, it's sort of like if you're going to have a pot pie, I'd get the Marie Callender's over the Swansons.
So pop quiz.
Yeah.
Are they better the next morning out of the fridge cold or hot on the night?
Ooh, well, there's a way to do it. Okay, so how I do it? Well, now you got the what do you call that? The air fryer. That really heats it up really nice. Second choice is to use a cast iron skillet. Get that good and hot. Put the pizza in the cast iron skillet. Cover it with a top on it for a little bit just so it heats all the way. Take the top back off. The bottom comes out nice and crusty and hard. And, I like crusty stuff. And that works really well, too.
Or you can be me. Straight out of the fridge with the door open probably. And eating watching the coffee dripping into the pot while I'm chewing on the piece of pizza.
My sister-in-law, Mary Jane, would do the same thing. Yeah.
I was like, why waste the time?
Yes. Why do you got to heat it up? You know what somebody put on the internet? You get a 4-slice toaster, you put it on its side, and then slick the pizza into there.
Oh my God. Well, bring in my husband.
Multi-layer pizza cooking.
And then a fire, if you're not lucky.
Yes.
If it's not lucky. My husband bringing is much like Homer Simpson, where he had the hoagie sandwich that was, turned green, but he's like, it's not bad. Don't worry about it. So he would, we left pizza out on the counter overnight. I'm like, you can't eat that. He's like, well, I'm not dead. And I was like, well, and now I'm not that picky anymore. I'm like, no,
that looks pretty good. Yeah. Well, you think about it, the tomatoes in it, right? The sauce.
By the way, we're not advocating any of this.
Yeah.
This is just our personal experience.
But it does have a lot of acidity to it, which will preserve it to a certain extent.
Yes. And I haven't died yet, and I've been eating cookie dough since I was 7, so I'm probably
raw cookie dough. There's big warnings on the label.
Oh my God.
Don't eat raw cookie dough. It has raw eggs in it.
I've made it half a century. I'm still okay. But, again, I'm not advocating
and
any
pizza
of this.
pockets. Pizza pockets is probably our most sought after, asked for frozen thing to bring in.
Oh, I know.
We had for a short time the kosher brand.
Yeah.
And I think the government caught up with the importer and said, no, you can't do this. But we got back the Italian pizza. Well, not Italian, it's made by Jewish people.
Yes.
In Brooklyn.
Right.
Right. The pizza's back.
Oh, how about the pizza bites? They're like little mini pizza pockets. Yeah. That would be good if we could find those at some point. But I need to buy that cheese pizza because I keep looking at it and I don't do it. And
that'd be so good in it. Air fryer.
Ooh, because there are individual slices in that too.
Yeah, nobody's at work, can't have it delivered.
You might have a key. You can drive there.
Yeah.
I'll follow you.
But then you got to cook it.
Yeah, it's too much. Too much work has gone into that. And since we bleed pizza, pop culture. Now, there's two, we are East and West.
Yeah.
This is East and West with some pizza in movies.
Saturday night. Well, we talked about the Saturday night with Tony over there.
Yeah, because
down 86th Street.
And your friend sort of taught him the strut. We didn't talk about that.
Oh, yeah, my friend Johnny. Right. Johnny, who was on here, I think, in episode 3. Right?
Oh, was that Johnny?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that was strutting Johnny.
Next time I see him, I'm going to have Donna. Donna, could you take a picture of John walking down the block?
Yes.
And you'll see exactly what I'm talking about.
Please do that, Donna. Yeah. And mine, because, mine's 80s. I love this guy, Jeff Spicoli. Fast Times
That's a
at
nice
Ridgemont
Italian
High.
name.
He was Spicoli. I thought that whatever.
No, it ends with a vowel.
Well, okay. I thought it might have been Polish, but I'll go with Italian. Sean Penn, his breakthrough performance with Mr. Hand. So it's American history. They're discussing Cuba. Next thing you hear on the door, he goes, "Who's there?" Pizza guy. Pizza guy delivery. He's like, "Pardon me?" Come in. He goes, "Who got the double cheese and sausage?" He's like, "That's me, dude." It's like, "Did you order a pizza and hand to my class? This is my time, Spicoli." "I was thinking about that, Mr. Hand. This is, I'm here and you're here. This is our time."
God.
And the teacher got to even give the pizza away. But I just wonder how many smart Alex then tried to order pizza to school after that movie, because I think that was a pretty good idea. Actually, you know, our youngest, Uber Eats. Uber Eats would show up at the back gate of her school. Kids would do Uber Eats orders. It was like, who had that? Yeah. So, yes, Spicoli was ahead of his time. And in pop culture, there's also another funny thing, if anyone wants to have a look, in Wayne's World, which is my favorite. Wayne's World. Yeah. They do a whole section on product placement and with Rob Lowe in it, and they're eating Domino's pizza. I really wouldn't sell my soul for product placement. And there's Doritos and Pepsi and everything else. It's worth YouTubing that one.
But Domino's does have a place in the pizza pavilion, so to speak, because even the guy from Motofuku, he talks about it on his show.
Absolutely, because he's like, sometimes at 2 a.m, that is as good.
It's like going to Denny's.
That's exactly right. It hits the spot. It's the right thing for the right time.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, I like David Chang. I love him. Yeah. Also, they delivered a pizza to the space station.
Freeze-dried.
It still got there.
It got there.
There was pizza. You would be excited if you're an astronaut staring at the same people for that long.
Yeah.
Not being able to
I don't know how they do that.
I don't really want to know.
Yeah. That's why you got to, I think I got to put the helmet back on, Yeah,
because if anyone that flies around, I don't want to talk about it.
Well, at least they had Tang.
Well, yes. And we have Tang too. We have people that
they still remember the commercial, right?
And they want it. And they're like, "Where's my Tang? It's sold out."
Yeah. Okay. So now we're going to wrap up this section and have another slice of pizza in our dreams and come back with the secret code. Okay, back from our pizza break. And now for the secret code. Mm-hmm. Our favorite pizza, Hawaiian.
God, that's it.
You can remember that. Aloha. No, that's not it. Hawaiian.
No, it's Hawaiian. Let's not have that coffee mistake again, people.
Okay.
So you can use that code. There'll be a special deal for that to use on our website, or if you do a click and collect and pick up in store. So the website is usafoods.com.au. We are located at 73 Cochrane's Road, Moorabbin, here in Victoria. Now, our hours are Monday through Thursday, 10 to 5. Then Friday, we're open 10 to 8 p.m., Saturday, 10 to 5, and Sunday, 11 to 3.
And if you want to get a hold of us, just go to your email, and we're at podcast@usafoods.com.au. So all your constructive criticism, letters, comments, suggestions, anything, just put it there to podcast@usafoods.com.au.
Yes, that's right. I've got a few new people that I had chatted to that were going to give us a listen this week. So our listener emails, there was, an update, more like feedback. There was a snack it bracket that the Today Show did on Super Bowl snacks, which we talked about the other week.
They must have listened to the podcast.
They would have, because we did that. Al Roker listens to us, I'm sure. Yes. And nachos won. 76%. It had defeated
the guacamole. But a real good guacamole just kills nachos.
Well, the guy on the Today Show, it wasn't Al, so I don't know who he is. He said, "Look, you can have the best of both worlds and put guacamole on your nachos." Yes. Leslie, our favorite feedbacker, came back and she was a little bit irritated with us that we missed Texas pancake or Texas sheet cake.
Yeah.
for a Super Bowl snack for dessert.
Oh, why do you have to?
Yeah,
no
who
people.
wants beer and dessert?
Yeah, exactly. When the game's over, who wants dessert? I want to go home and crash.
Well, obviously Leslie does, and she was then irritated that I had said Coldplay were boring because she said Coldplay's never bad. But she can keep that opinion. And my mom, we had a little discussion. She loved the coffee episode. So if you haven't heard that, go back. It's a couple back, and we talked about American coffee and coffee shop experiences and things, and she said it was the best ever, she thought.
And we almost had a guest audience here.
We did.
Flavio, and he had comments about how bad New York coffee is.
Well, he said his dog escaped and he had to leave. I think he might not have wanted to have the conversation that he was going to have.
So, yes.
Because when you go have coffee, you're not getting a latte.
Just want that job. I just want it in my veins.
You're getting a brewed coffee. Maybe he just didn't know what he was asking for. And that's his problem, not our problem. But, if he comes back, I'm sure you two can have that discussion.
Yeah, now he's going to hit me on pizza. Yeah.
That's true. Now, Mom also said, she was talking when we were talking about our memories of coffee and coffee shops. She could still hear the heavy cup on the table, and then when the busboy would put it in the tub, she could hear all that,
and the little tinkle of the stirring of the coffee.
It brought it all back to her, so she thought that was pretty awesome. Yes. And now we are on to
Nat Nosh
favorite segment.
Ooh, okay. So today, Wednesday, that you're listening to it, February the 11th, is National Peppermint Patty Day.
Yum.
Sounds like a day of York.
That is perfect.
Yes.
Milk, 10 points.
Okay.
I love those things.
York peppermint patties, and that's the most famous one.
Yeah, you get like the...
Or Junior Mints.
That's like a baby
That's
peppermint.
a baby peppermint patty. Never thought of it that way.
It's a pedito.
Yeah.
And I also like, you have the thicker after dinner mints that are sort of peppermint patty-ish, but they are my fave, one of my mini faves. And National Don't Cry Over Spilt Milk Day.
How would that get in there?
I think that's silly because really, it's about organic milk, and this is food, not milk.
Yeah, because then we could get into the conversation and argument about, is soy milk because it doesn't come out of an udder?
Yeah, and my part of California is like the center of almond milk production.
Well, because they grow all the almond juice, but it
right.
wasn't until 10 years ago they made almond milk out of it.
Yes, and that's
but it's not milk.
No, it's
almond juice.
Almond juice, which is odd. So we will move on to Thursday, which
National Plum Pudding Day. That's a
British thing.
A British, yeah. But plum pudding's good.
It is good, but I don't know. I thought figgy pudding would be more a thing, but plum pudding day, it is. And here, it's every Christmas we have it.
Yes.
And
the hot brandy sauce.
Or pouring cream or custard or all of the above if you're my husband.
And I'm strange. I have it plain.
I do too, actually. And I like the custard separately. But yeah, Brendan he'll have pouring cream, whipped cream, hard sauce, and custard.
Ice cream.
And ice cream.
Got to lubricate it.
Yeah.
Here's another good Italian one.
Yeah. Now, here, National Tortellini Day. Yum. Growing up, I never had tortellini.
Really?
Yeah, it's not Sicilian.
Oh, well, that makes sense. Must be Northern Italian.
Yeah. Somewhere else.
Do you know what I like? A good cheese.
I had raviolis. That was close.
I love
That's a cousin.
Although I like crumbed and fried raviolis too. But, I digress. Tortellini, I've got a good cheaty recipe for you. Mm-hmm. So you can make a quick soup. So chicken stock and put the tortellini in it.
Course,
oh my God. Yeah. I love that so much. And on Valentine's Day.
Oh.
There could be nothing commercial in this
After you just told me before, no Valentine's Day gift this year.
Well, do you get one any year?
No.
Okay, so those words have never left my mouth, but I don't think I've got any Valentine's Day
Okay.
gifts.
Well, it's National Cream-Filled Chocolate Day.
Okay, so a box of chocolates.
Yeah, with cream filling, or whatever fillings. What's your favorite chocolate?
Seeds candy.
No, but when you get all the little ones out of a box.
I like a box of nuts and chews, and there's like one that's like marzipan-y.
Okay.
It's like a nougat, but it's marzipan as well. That's my favorite. Yeah. And molasses chips, but that's not cream filling.
No, I like the haystacks.
Oh, what's that with the noodly?
No, with the coconut in it.
Oh, yeah, that's good too.
That's good. That was my mom's favorite too.
Haystacks.
And then also National Old Clementine Day. Not old, just clementine.
Just clementines.
Clementine, that's an orange, isn't it?
It is. It's a cross between a sweet orange and a mandarin. So it's a mandarin, really. Yeah. And I miss tangerines because we don't have those here either. We're on citrus at the moment.
Yeah, but we have those other things.
Tangellas.
No, the other little things they
mandarins.
They're mandarins. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just like a. It's Sunday. Let's get off this. Sunday the 15th is goody.
Gumdrop day.
Oh,
I love gumdrops.
Yeah, especially when they stick in your teeth and you bite on them and
they're
gooey.
Hurt.
Yeah. Or they pull the filling out.
And you walk around just picking it out for you're talking to someone. Yes. Oh, and back to earlier, Monday the 16th is National
Almond Day. Big day in California.
That's exactly right. San Joaquin Valley will be helping out with that.
Now, what's your favorite almonds?
Oh, I like smoked almonds. Smoked roasted almonds.
That's mine too.
Yeah, you can't go past that one, really.
They're just so good. And chocolate covered almonds too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I do love those. Dark chocolate covered almonds for me. Yes.
And then on the 17th is National Indian Pudding Day. Now, we talked about that a while ago.
Yes, so that's
like a cornmeal
molasses
pudding. Yes. So we never made that, but it is it's a 3-step process if I remember to make it.
Yes.
So next week it's on the agenda. You need to make it.
Right. Okay. I'll put a note there.
Okay.
Tick.
Yeah.
Okay. So we do actually. We do need snacks. The catering for the show is something
poor.
to be designed. Yeah.
It's not in the budget.
But we didn't do the Super Bowl commercial. We should be fine.
Yes. Well, we saved $5.53 million.
Can't we get a damn pizza around this joint?
Yeah, that's like when Jeanette goes to this, she buys it and says, "Look at this! I just bought this. I saved $20." I said, "Why'd you buy 10 of them?" We said we had $200. Yeah.
Yes, I do that. I got $50 off, but now what was the residual amount that you actually paid? Yes, I remember that.
Okay, so where are we now? I forgot.
We are talking about what next week is.
Yeah, what are we going to do next week?
We're going to talk about soda.
Soda?
You
mean pop?
Oh, yes, whatever you want to call it. Fizzy drink, they call it here.
Drink. No, they call it lemonade here. That was confusing.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah. I'm a lemonade. Oh, wait a minute. This is 7-Up.
That's right. Why are you giving me that? It's just much like in, where is it? I think it's Texas. They call everything Coke. So I'll have Mountain Dew. I'll have Coke.
We'll save that for next week. Don't do that. Because I was going to say something else.
And we'll save it.
We'll got to save it all now. Otherwise, they won't come back. Right. Oh, I heard that already. They already talked about the soda.
I'm not talking about that again. So.
Yeah. Oh, what are we going to talk about soda for? But we just give you a clue. There's so much that we talked about today about pizza. There'll be just as much talking about the history of soda and all the different varieties.
Because the beauty of America is that it's regional, and there's some really strange and specific flavors and things that
people of Michigan like blankety blank type.
Yes,
and I ain't going to mention the name.
South Carolina.
Yeah, they like that.
Yeah, that's right. And I
in New York they like the.
And I actually had a customer come in and cry when she saw whatever she saw on the shelf.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The South Carolina one.
Tears of joy.
Oh, isn't that sweet?
So sometimes it's like working in a florist shop where people are just happy, unless it's a funeral.
I tell you the time I used to work for like one day, right?
Right, yes.
I forgot who it was. Calls me up. He says, "What are you doing today?" No. Could you help me? Right?
I
said, "What do you need?" I said, "Look, the guy that I'm doing this deliveries for, he didn't show up. I need you for a day or two to drive the van and make deliveries." He owns a florist.
Right.
You know where the deliveries are? 50% of them?
The funeral home.
Yeah. And when you get there, the funeral home's closed. You got to go around the back way. It was like, I'm
know
not
what's in the
looking.
back?
Here's the flowers. And the rest of them go to the happy ones in the hospital, you know, for the
Yes,
people giving birth, babies. And then, of course, then the people are dying, you know, in the hospital. Oh, God.
How do we go? We
Yeah,
shouldn't
you
do
go
night
up and
shows
down like
anymore.
like a yo-yo on that. And that was before, I don't even know, like, I wasn't all that familiar. This was in Staten Island I had to go.
Yes.
And I was not familiar with Staten Island. And Staten Island doesn't have, like, in Brooklyn or in the city where it's, you know, everything is numbered.
Right.
Over there, everything has a name. I don't know how I never got
Elm
lost.
Street.
I didn't get lost that much.
Yeah, there was no
GPS. No. I don't even think I had a map.
Actually, my mother has said one day you should do a show on all of Phil's different jobs.
I didn't have that many.
Well, every week you seem to have another one that I haven't heard of.
Well, that was like a 2-day. That didn't count.
Right. On that note,
Yes.
we will go scrounge around and try to find some food.
Yep.
And we will see you guys next week. Thank you, Phil.
Thank you. Okay, we're gone. And let's thank Barbara and Brendan. Brendan from Fizz Farm.
That's it.
And then we're going to talk about that next week.
That's right.
Okay, goodbye.
I love my barbecue. Once you find a love like mine, you know that love is true. Understand, I'm just a man with the pork fat baby back blues. Yeah, understand, I'm still your man with the pork fat baby back blues.